Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So I saw this admin post from Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson, by the way, is still in prison for no reason whatsoever. Free Tommy Robinson, please. Like he's at the moment, he's like a political prisoner, as it would seem, in his own damn country. But nevertheless, I saw this post and it kind of made me, well, angry to start off with, because I call myself a Christian, and another thing I do not like are these woke virtue signaling monkeys that run around, jump up and down, yell and scream like the trans mob do very, very well. And they get the attention of all the wrong people. And I'm talking about the leaders that make decisions for our country. And they end up getting more and more protected. Now, another thing that I cannot stand, and I just find it really loathsome, especially right now, are the pro Palestinian mobs that decide that they've got a chance and yell and scream and say certain things like free Palestine from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free, even they don't know what that means. Now, every time I make videos about the whole Gaza and Israel Palestine movement, I end up getting into trouble from this particular platform. And a lot of people don't seem to like my 2 cents worth, but that doesn't matter, because today I'm getting sick and tired of stuff like this going on. So this is a very, very disrespectful thing to do, but I think God's going to have his final say in the end. Because look, a church should be a place of worship. It should be a sacred place that is not interrupted by protests or dingbats running around with their own political agenda, as it would seem. You should have the separation of church and state. But nevertheless, you've got the inclusion of church and state at the moment, with these political nut jobs walking in to a church during a service, holding up all of these flags and other horrific things that aren't necessarily true at all. And I saw so many comments on the last video that I made about this of like, stop the genocide, stop this, stop that. I'm like, what genocide? What's going on? What do you consider an actual genocide? Please, like, explain, elaborate for me, because I don't actually see one taking place. Sure, there's a lot of people that are dying, and I hate seeing that. I don't want people to die on both sides. That's like obvious, but I don't see it as like the Holocaust, for example. That's an actual genocide. Or I don't see it as Mao's China in the actual genocide that he committed over there. Like, I don't, you'd have no comparison. And if you wanted to talk about more genocides, maybe look at some of the other Arab countries that are actually committing it to their own people. But that's what I mean about this whole virtue signaling nonsense. They're in it for a political motive, and that political motive is to signal, look at us. We want to free Palestine. We're not for any of this, but they don't really know what they're talking about at all. So have a watch of this very, very disrespectful of pro-Palestinian mobs disrupting a service or a Sunday mass at Armgarth Cathedral, I believe it was, in the UK. So the UK has already fallen, ladies and gentlemen, but here we are. Have a watch. And if you notice one thing in this video, there happens to be a lot of white people. A lot of them happen to be also elderly, and there's also a lot of younger people in this video too. That should show, and that should signify just how much the woke mind virus has infested the UK. You can do this kind of stuff in the UK and you can have no problem whatsoever. This wouldn't be a hate crime in the UK, but if you were to pray outside of a word or an abortion clinic, you would be arrested and locked up, because that's apparently a hate crime. But going into an actual holy place, a church, right? It's supposed to be holy, right? And then protesting this way, trying to shut down the service, trying to shut down the church, that's not a hate crime. That's not problematic at all in the UK. They actually support it, and they're just cheering it on. And look at some of these signs. Like they're showing a young kid that was killed, and then, or how many people have been murdered and rising. And then you have Jesus was a Palestinian. That was the sign that got me. He was not a Palestinian. And by the way, they got the Shroud of Turin. You don't know anything about the Shroud of Turin. Apparently, it's like the cloth that Jesus was buried in, and it created a perfect. It's supposed to create a perfect picture of what Jesus looked like. And saying that Jesus was a Palestinian is a ridiculous, and it's an actual mockery, to be honest with you, because Jesus was a Jew. He wasn't Palestinian, he was a Jew. But anyway, he came to save both Jew, Greek, Gentile, didn't matter who it was, Palestinian, the like. He came to seek and to save everyone. And my problem is they have no respect or no regard for Jesus whatsoever. They tarnish his name and they go into one of his places of worship, and they also see that as a way to virtue signal their political motives and their political agenda. I don't think Jesus, if he was there, would like anything that they were doing. And you know why? He did a very similar thing back in the Bible, where people were casting lots. They were doing their own political stuff in his father's house. And you know what he did? He got a whip. He started turning over the tables. It was a righteous anger, because that sort of stuff should not be in the church. It's a massive disrespectful slap in the face to all Christians everywhere, and all Christians everywhere should be mad this sort of stuff is going on, not just in the UK, but around the world, man. It's going to continue to go on until this stuff has stopped. Like, when is enough going to be enough? Like, obviously the Christians, they're peaceful people. I totally get that, but they're disrupting your service. They're disrupting your time to worship God, all in the name of them trying to promote their political agenda and their political motive. And I don't think that that is acceptable at all. Not the time, not the place, especially in church. And I wouldn't be surprised if God does something later on to all these people, because you don't mock God first and foremost. You don't try and virtue signal your political motive and your political agenda inside of a church. Like, I get if you say, oh, please pray for the Palestinian people that are being killed and dying and all that sort of stuff. Fine, we can pray for them as well. We can pray for the innocents that are actually over there, not the T word people. We can pray for the innocent people. We're not going to pray for the T word people. Maybe we can. I don't know. Maybe we can pray for their salvation and God will work a miracle. Who knows? But I think we are living in the last times, and it's becoming more and more evident as the days go on, ladies and gentlemen, especially when with stuff like this happens. I mean, these people can say horrible slogans, very anti-Semitic slogans, and get away with it. But if you put a post up on Facebook saying you disagree with Palestinians or whatever else, you can get arrested and thrown in jail. And that's Keir Starmer's UK, people. By the way, Keir Starmer also admitted that the whole immigration thing was planned. It was intentional. He admitted that the other day in a video. So the gaslighting is unreal from these people. They do not care about you at all. And it's high time that the people take back what is rightfully theirs and stop this virtue signaling nonsense. I'm way past it, man. I really, really am. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care. You be blessed, and see you all in the next video.